Hey guys, Cat Demon 43 and back with what I believe will be the final episode of the letter. Not too sure, but we'll see. But yeah, we last time we did Ash's and his ending was pretty rough. Still hits me, honestly, just thinking about it. But yeah, now though, we're going to be starting with Luke's. Or restarting, I guess, and see how different this version of Luke will be in comparison to the last version. So, let's just get into that, shall we? I just can't get it out of my head no matter how hard I try.
You would be nothing without me. Your company would be buried in debt and you'd be begging on the streets if it weren't for me!
Right off the bat, okay. I can still feel their stares, the way they judge me with their tiny, empty minds. Pinpricks on the back of my head, eyes all over me. They don't look at me with awe and desire, but with accusations and disgust. If I don't do something, everything I have, everything I've earned, will amount to nothing.
Honey, I'm home!
I could think of nothing else all throughout the day, and it has left me nervous and agitated. I've done little else but worry about it. Why, I almost shot a thug in the foot for laughing out loud while I was enjoying a sandwich. Wow, okay. And I've completed, jumping back and forth between yes and no, will and won't, mulling over a word that starts with M, and I've been doing so with great malice. Murder on my mind. It seems a bit too much, I know. It's just a thought. But thoughts are dangerous things. Who cares what the buffoons think of me? They are beneath me. But Hana, to think that she feels that way towards me. I can't stomach the thought that she thinks so lowly of me, that she may have always believed me to be less than her. It was the way she looked at me, with eyes so full of anger and hatred, that burns me most of all.
There is no prince that loves another better. She is not deserving.
Jesus.
Darling! Love! Buttercup! Why aren't you answering?
Upstairs, Luke!
God.
Your princely dignity must not suffer that wretch.
No, I mustn't. I am beneath no one. My steps are slow and heavy as I climb the stairs. One of my knives rests neatly up my sleeve, and its cold blade will not let me forget its presence nor my intent. Oh God, hi honey, hi sweetie. Not a good night. And when I enter a room and look up on her, where she stays, I have a thought that nearly makes me laugh. I might not be a prince here to save the princess in the tower. I might be the dragon that takes and kill. Yet, she doesn't know that. Not yet. Even I am unsure which way it'll go right now.
This lewd woman is not worthy. She should not escape without punishment.
Lewd? How the heck is she lewd?
Here I am expecting a warm welcome home, and here you are locked up in the room like a shut-in. Oh, Hana, what am I to do with you? You're looking a little bit pale. Are you all right?
I must have had... Actually, maybe from the party last night. Maybe breakfast or lunch.
Oh, if only that were the case. Perhaps you would have been too sick to do what you did to me last night.
Johans had been acting really strangely while you were gone. Do you think...
Do I think what? That he poisoned you? Don't be silly. He wouldn't do such a thing unless I tell him to.
The bastard was told to look after her, make sure she doesn't leave, a guard for the princess. I did not tell him the extent of my plans, only that I hoped to talk to her, to see how this has come to be. But I can't even find reason to try and forgive her for what she's done. If I am to do anything, it would be best to control the situation so I can steer the story. One cannot get away with crimes as much as I have without being a director of a nature. Oh, God. I can be the loving husband, distraught over his wife's death if needed. Or if she were to say, disappear. That can be arranged as well, whichever I see fit. A great hesitance comes over me, though, as I hold her in my arms, one that I haven't felt before. Even things such as killing comes easy with the idea that is for my well-being. But then again, this is Hana. Sweet Hana. Am I really to do this? Perhaps we can still fix things.
She will bring you nothing but troubles and vexations.
Don't you worry. If you are sick, I'll take care of you myself. I did tell you that you'll have my afternoon and every moment after for as long as you live, didn't I? I am just so worried about my poor wifey. That Rochelle woman had some nerve, and I've insulted your honor so. My poor wifey has been through so much.
Silently, I procure my knife and press it against the small of her back. This close, I can feel the hitch of her breath, and it is all too easy to imagine the quickening of her heart. To know I hold another human's life in my hands can be rather breathtaking at times. It is power, after all. Enticing and intoxicating.
My poor, spoiled wifey, Hannah fucking Evans. Silver spoon in her mouth, never had to lift a finger in her goddamn life. Poor wifey trying to ruin everything for me. All that I've worked so hard for. She'll just take it all away. We've got to fix that. You know, you and I. We have to make sure you don't pull a dodgy stunt like the one you did last night. Even if we have to take you out of the picture.
I really hope I can hear this guy's, this voice actor again, because he's really freaking good.
Permanently.
Even when he's being a complete jerk in this. Oh, God. It makes one feel like a god and a monster in equal measure. But one cannot be both. Which one am I? I'm...
Kill her. Kill her now.
Why are you doing this?
It is for the best.
Because, Hannah, darling, it's never enough. I want it all.
She is only getting in our way.
You don't have to do this. You can still have it all, Luke. Just please, don't you love me?
I do love you so very much.
Oh, I still do, Hannah. I do love you.
I love you. I love you. But truth be told, would you have been hurt sooner or later? But truth be told, you would have been hurt sooner or later, one way or another. The least I can do is make it quick and painless, and have you in my arms as you go. Others go out screaming, suffering, because there is so much pain in this world. This is a gift, right?
But you're outliving your usefulness. In fact, you're becoming a pain in the arse, just like your dear old dad. Now I'm doing you a favor, and you'll be with him again. Real soon.
There's no prince more caring and loving. Now be rid of her.
Which is why I must do this, even though it pains me to.
What's so funny?
There's nothing funny. So why am I laughing as well?
We would have been so beautiful.
How does one get away with murder? By being clean and efficient? By being methodical? By being ready to do anything and everything to make sure you aren't caught or implicated of the crime? A knife in the back. They never quite see it coming, do they? And the knife stays in there until the blood stops flowing, as freely as it does. A cork stopper for something a lot more gory than wine. It means a lot less blood on my person as well. There's no time to delay, no time to think twice, while I start to drag the body face down so that the blood doesn't spill on the floor. I can't take her out into the hallway just yet, in case an errant servant strays past, but the room next to ours is remote and inaccessible to the rest of the house. Hana has forbidden anyone to go in there. What would the children's room, as she has wished it to be, is a pet project of hers. Only she and McCullough have been allowed. Nobody would even dare to set foot in there. Even I have not, though it was mostly out of indifference. It'll have to do for now. A thorough cleaning will also have to be scheduled. Some lie? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Some lye will need to be... Yeah, lye. Okay, so like the stuff. Some lye will need to be purchased. Or actually, daffodils. Cover it up with fertilizer, and we can plant daffodils on it. Oh. So... Okay. Wait, then... all of those daffodils... Okay. Albius will have to be planned. The possibility... Oh, alibis. Alibis will have to be planned. The possibilities for that are endless and will have to be thought through later. In the meantime, my body moves on autopilot. How many times have I done this? I don't really know. Although it has been a while, I act with a familiarity I should be disturbed by. My mind screams, it's Hana, but part of me snuffs it out. It tells me to be quiet and be a good little boy. I've done this before. Being sentimental has not done me any favors. What I do now has gotten me far in life, so why should this be any different? It was Hana. Now, it's simply a cooling body. That's all this is. A body in a crime scene I need to be rid of. Right? In my hurry to hide the body, what I see next blindsides me.
What? What is all this?
Walls in off-white, a simple base of paint on another color, makes the room stand in contrast with others plastered with wallpaper. The area is sparsely furnished with little more than a little toy chest tucked in the corner of the room, along with a shelf, barren except a few books and trinkets. 2 teddy bears stare down at me from their shelves. But it is what stands by the window that catches me off guard. There's a moment of confusion, as if my brain has shut down and it is to catch up with what I am seeing. I imagine I must be a ghastly sight when the blood has left my cheeks already. I have to clutch at my chest, fearing that my beating heart would just burst. I have to take a step back before I can stumble forward. I feel faint, like I'm floating, and any step I take will send me falling. Though it doesn't need much to take me off my feet and my knees shake, and not when the body becomes too much of a burden to carry. From cradle to grave, a crib, of all bloody things, stands in the corner, innocent and unassuming. I can almost hear their laughter, mocking without any pity. But none are as condemning as the sound of my own thoughts ringing in my head. Look at what you've done. Look at what you've destroyed. That's all you do, isn't it? Make a mess and kill everything you touch. Is nothing precious? Is nothing sacred? Is nothing safe? You are your father's son. The possible implications of what I've done weighs heavily, looming over my head as she lays still in my arms. Any will I had, any strength I had mustered in order to hide what I've done seeps away. I can't hold on to her anymore. I have no right to. My very touch corrupts and stains everything with blood. And Hannah, she was too pure, too good. I wasn't worthy. But I was too greedy. And I had to ruin her, too. With reverence, an odd thing to feel, or someone I just murdered, I carefully put her down on the ground. That's all I can manage. I can't even pick myself up. Fatigue takes over me, and I resign myself to sit with my back against the wall. I killed her. I never thought I would actually go through with it. I have told myself many times in the past that I would kill her one day. After a fight, I would grit my teeth and tell myself that I could get rid of her. But when the anger has faded away, I've always changed my mind. I needed her, wanted her alive. I've always managed to stay my hand, never to harm her, neither with a fist nor with an open palm. Now she's dead because of me. I know what I'm capable of. I've done so many selfish, heinous things in the pursuit of happiness, but to kill someone I actually love.
Wake up, Buttercup. This isn't real. This can't be happening.
So maybe he was possessed by the ghost then for that. I have a feeling that might have been the case, but I don't know.
This is a nightmare. That's all it is.
There's no denying it. Not with the smell of blood. Her blood, musty and nauseating, filling the air like a sickly sweet perfume. It's a bit troubling how used to it I am. How used I am to it. Death is something that I am all too familiar with. Death shaped me. It is given and it is taken, and oh how it has taken. I never liked it when it takes from me. And all of this room, if it meant what I think it does, I
killed them. I killed them.
Their blood is not the first to taint my hands. I've killed women. I've killed men and women, whether it be by my own hands or by my orders. But never children. After all, why would I condone the killing of someone who hasn't done me wrong? Helpless and innocent little things. Their deaths do not serve me any purpose. I don't want to believe it.
No, 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 no. Wake up! Open your eyes! Raise your sleepy head!
This is not real.
Wake up, little Lucille!
What have I done? Oh, God. Knowing he couldn't take Hannah's corpse out yet, in case an errant servant strayed past, Luke dragged his wife's lifeless body to the remote room next to theirs, but upon opening its doors, what greeted him was the revelation that he was going to be a father. Yeah. I don't know how long I sat in there, faced with Hannah's corpse in that horrid room. For a brief moment, I had thought it's a good idea to sit her up, as if that would change anything. But the notion alone is stupid. One among the many, and it leaves me with little energy. At the very least, I managed to heave myself out at one point, only able to drag myself to the foot of our bed. Looking out the window shows the light has given way to darkness, enveloping everything with the night sky. On any other night, it may have given me comfort, but now I want to rewind time and have my sunshine once more. I loved her.
And that's why she had to go.
To be honest, I really don't know how to feel.
Face it, Lucille Mitchell-Wright. You owe me everything.
I was just blinded with rage with how she humiliated me at that party. I've worked so hard to be where I am, but in the fickle society of the rich and famous, my own wife turning on me like that is basically social suicide. I was so angry, ready to protect what I've built for myself at all costs. I still feel the anger burning low, but for some reason, it's directed at myself. With it, confusion rears, questions come and go as I second-guess myself and my actions.
It had to be done. She was getting in our way.
Yes, it had to be done. Was she getting in my way? No, that's not it. I did it because I don't know. A rawness scrapes at me until I'm left feeling cold and hollow. It carves out my insides and has me wanting to scratch at my skin. It's crushing, suffocating, and it makes me want to claw at my own throat. I've only felt this once before, when she died. One can only call it grief. Perhaps this is the worst feeling of all.
She deserved it.
Oh God, not that portrait again.
It's all her fault. With her out of the picture, I can focus on me. I can do what I want without compromising. And besides, I never wanted to be a father anyway.
Trying to justify yourself is not going to work, buddy. I honestly don't think it will.
You need neither that whore of a woman nor her children.
Shut up, Ghost. He would have been a good dad. Shut up. I would never want to be a father. I can't imagine what kind of father I would be, and wouldn't wish myself on any child. Not with who I had as an example. Damien Wright was not a very good father. In the short time I had him as one, in fact, he hadn't been a father at all. He cared little for me. Didn't even know about my existence until he needed an heir. There are others out there, other children that I could call my brothers and sisters. I know of one brother from Brighton, older than I by many years, who was cast aside because he was ill. Another born within the same week as I was ignored because he had a preference for men. He chose me not because he loved me, but because I was the only son of acceptable standards among the many illegitimate children he's conceived. Jesus Christ! How many kids? I wasn't a son to take care of, but a successor to groom in order to keep the right name alive. I was a tool, an investment. Not family, not even a person. Not that I hardly knew my father as one either. But even without that, I wouldn't want to bring a child on this earth. I know the world with all it has to offer, cold, cruel, and harsh, in which no true kindness can survive in one piece. Humanity is more beastly than any animal that roamed the land. Humans can be the most horrible of monsters. That's very true. I am one of them. If I am a monster, then why does this hurt me so much?
This is fine. I'm fine.
No, you're not. This has to be the biggest lie I've ever said. And I've lied a lot.
You feel pain now, my prince, because of your kind and caring heart. But that shall pass.
Shut up, ghost. It's a laughable enough notion on its own. Of course, humor is subjective. Oh, hi. Shrokin comes in with a grim look on his face. I would assume that he was expecting a bloodbath in here, judging by the slowness of his steps. There is a mess in here. Not that kind. I don't think he was expecting me to be in a state that I am. Sitting on the ground, haggard-looking with blood drying on the sleeves of my suit, all while I giggle like I've just heard the funniest joke in the world.
What is so funny?
We would have been so beautiful together.
Hana's last words sound like a terribly bad joke, coming from me.
There were toys in there, you know. And this bloody book of names. Do you know what this means? Did you? Did you know about this? And don't you dare lie to me. If you knew about this and you let me kill my own child, I'll fucking murder yours.
I stared him straight in the eye, just daring him to lie about this. If he knew, he should have stopped me. If he knew that Hana was pregnant and did not tell me, he does not show it. The silence is not telling, but my blood boils as I feel how he judges me. You're a monster, Look Right, he says without speaking.
Don't look at me like that!
I bet he knew and still kept quiet about it. This is why I mustn't trust anyone. Liars, thieves, the lot of them. Of course, that makes me quite the hypocrite, doesn't it? But it's a dog-eat-dog world. Becoming one of them is going to be inevitable, sooner or later. I had to be innocent of these sins in the first place. I want to lash out, to scratch and bite and tear, become the monster I really am. I am the dragon that craves treasure and sets fire to the world. I'll kill him. I'll kill them all. I already killed Hana. After all, why should anybody else be safe?
She asked me to keep it secret. Unsure if you would be happy to be a father. I did not think you would do such a thing. I let myself hope for the best, for once. You loved her so. The question is, would you have done things differently because of this knowledge?
Judging from this, I honestly feel that Luke wouldn't have harmed her. I mean, oh god, this whole thing is making me waver. I'm not sure. Like, what Luke did, he's killed people. That's horrible, awful, but at the same time, too, it seems that he's constantly wavering from it. Fuck, what does Dad do exactly?
Would you listen to me? To anyone other than her, for that matter? If they forbade you from doing as you please?
And that's the kicker, isn't it? Because I don't know the answer to that myself. I want to scream. But I just feel so tired that I can no longer protest when I'm picked up off the floor by the arm like some reprehensible waif. I say nothing as I'm ushered into the bed and told to sleep, and as the lights are turned off, the terrace doors are closed and the curtains shut. Only then do I manage to speak.
What? Not going to tuck me in and tell me to have sweet dreams?
Nothing. He does not speak or even acknowledge that he heard me. The man merely collects the dirty laundry and leaves without a second glance. There is nothing but silence, cold and lonely and oppressing. How long has it been since I've slept alone? Even in a stranger's bed. I've always had someone to warm me up. Mint or Rochelle. Oh, he did sleep with Rochelle. Okay. Any other woman I end up in the streets with. And I make sure I always leave first, never wanting to wake up and find myself alone again. Far too long, I can't even imagine how I've managed to sleep without a warm body beside me before I had Hana. Still, the fatigue soon catches up and pulls me into sleep's embrace. It's not her sobs that I hear, but his, hers, theirs. I'll never know now, will I? I've killed them. By my own doing, I've ended all of it, even before anything has begun. Their blood drips from my fingers, pooling at my feet, lapping at my ankles, like the cold, suffocating embrace of my sins. They creep up my limbs, slow and unhurried, twisting and turning. Up and up it goes until nothing but a sharp, gurgled cry escapes from my mouth. Then, all at once,
We would have been so cute.
I choke back a scream and wake up in a cold sweat. With my heart pounding in my ears, it takes a while to remember where I am. In the dark and cold the room once, one can't fault me for feeling ill at ease. It isn't as bright as the penthouse, and the renovations did little to change how old it feels. We've been here for less than a week. It'll take a bit more time to adjust. It's hard to feel cozy when I'm bloody freezing. Nudging the lump of fabric next to me, I sigh.
It's cold. Don't hog the sheets, Hana.
Hana's dead, buddy. She always did this throughout, though it hardly bothers me. Growing up, I was lucky to have something to use as a mattress. Besides, the warmth that Hana exuded on her own is usually enough to keep me sleeping through the night. The temperature tonight must be something else with how chill it is right now. It takes a while. Then I remember. It can't be Hana. So, who is it? The horrible image of Hana's cold corpse lying underneath the sheets comes to mind. Will it be anything but that? An intruder seeking warmth and shelter from the cold, dreary night? A maid sneaking in with mischief in mind? A hired hitman that has it out for my head? Even the last would be better than finding her there. I can fight off a man with a gun. I can say that the same about the sight of her dead eyes reminding me what I've done. The smart thing to do here is to get out, really. But a nagging curiosity aside, I have to know what they're here for, and, more importantly, what they've seen. What if they've seen what's in the other room? Why linger? Do they hope to blackmail me? And this is a sick way of sticking around until they can talk to me? If I leave now, they might as well. Just the act of trespassing alone should be cause enough for punishment. Whether the punishment leads to a swift execution remains to be seen. There is no sign that they've heard me, nor have they shown any sign of moving where they lie. With care, I go for a knife hidden under the side of my bed. It would be foolish of me to instigate anything while I'm unarmed, after all. To pull back the covers would be a more difficult affair, because reaching out to uncover who was underneath, I have to prepare for anything and assume the worst. If I so much as see the nozzle of a gun, there's going to be another murder tonight. I see the rise and fall of the sheets, though it could easily be mistaken as the fault of the breeze. I like to believe that it's breathing I'm hearing. Having an intruder in my bed, no matter how absurd, would be preferable to insanity. To know that my mind is rebelling against me, making me believe Hana still lives, and that she would even go anywhere near the monster that I've become. A great sense of foreboding comes over me, making me hesitate with my plan. I should just get out of here, not look back, and let security handle it. That's what they're there for. But I don't much like the idea of people swarming in here, especially not with a dead body in the other room. The fewer people that know about it, the better. That's always a good rule to follow with this sort of thing. I'm on my own, then. And that's the worst, but what's the worst that could happen, right? I've no reason to be afraid. There's no boogeyman under the bed, no monster in my closet. If anything, these things should be afraid of me, right? I grab a fistful of sheets and throw them aside. Yeah, you're there. Nothing. Nothing but a bunch of pillows that stare back at me. Luke awoke in the middle of the night with a scream and cold sweat. Finding comfort in the warm body next to his, he tried to get back to sleep and forget the images plaguing his mind, until he remembered that Hana was already a cold corpse left in the nursery. Of course, there's nothing under the sheets. Hana is dead, and no other body, has or will ever grace my own bedside. But what I felt, the breathing I heard, it isn't mine. Most likely, the imaginary constructs of the guilty mind, of course. What else could it have been? Must be my imagination, I mean. Look at me. I'm running on fumes, and it's going to my bloody It's got me bloody paranoid. I need more sleep, and maybe I'll take the day off as well. That sounds delightful, yes. Quiet and rest should do my head wonders. I'll have some much needed winks, and I can figure out what I'm going to do with it. For now, hush, and off to the realm of sleep. Hush, and think of nothing but fields of daffodils. The pleasant dreams refuse to linger, however. With the morning comes another disturbance, both too loud and too sharp for my tastes. And I have very fine tastes. When the piercing rings of the doorbell reaches even the bedroom, I'm very much inclined to think the person who has built this place lacks any sense of it. Perhaps the only thing good in this is that the ruckus has efficiently chased away all the whispers and the needling guilt, if only temporary. Still, the bloody annoying distraction. I can tell already that it is going to be a long day. It hasn't even started. Before the racket even lasts another minute, I'm peeling myself off the bed and heading straight for the main door. There'll be another murder today if this isn't lit up. However quaint, it seems everything in this blasted universe is intent on giving me my nerves as of late.
They are unworthy of your attention, my prince.
Gordon Bennett! Only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour!
In the first place, I shouldn't be the one doing this. That's why I hired a valet, for fuck's sake.
Where's that damn butler when I need him?
Cast them away. Drive them away.
I'll be honest, if only for today. With the mansion this quiet at this hour of the morning, it's easy to believe those little ghost stories might be real. But the only horror here is what I've done last night. The blood's still on my hands, regardless of how many times I've washed it off. Neither the deafening silence nor the biting chill spreading across every room in the place. There's no place to fear when guilt already burns that fuel. So, I wait for another second. When no butler still answers my call, I simply yank the doors open myself, perhaps with more force than needed. Even someone with half a brain knows not to disturb anyone this early. Brief confusion quickly gives way to anger, and before the bloody photographer can even get a word in, I'm hurling venom at him. It's less than he deserves, really. Hannah would disapprove, scold me for treating the photographer with such disrespect. She seemed fond of him, after all, despite meeting him once or twice. He's merely doing his job, she'd say. But she's no longer here, isn't she?
You? How the hell did you get in here? What in seven hells do you want? It's bloody 6 a.m.
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time. Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't.
My home, my rules. No, as simple as that.
Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep.
Oddly, the words taste foreign and bitter in my tongue. A remorse slowly taking home, creeping up and twining inside, reminding me of my transgressions when it hasn't done so before. Funny how the years have changed me. So I let anger guide them instead, if only because it's easier to cast away when you have someone else to project it onto. It just so happens it's a person I will never take a liking to, no matter what memory of her stays in my mind. A pulse, I suppose. A blessing. A plus, I suppose. A blessing. At least I won't feel any remorse if my ear does pierce.
Only you matters, no one else.
Come back when people are actually awake. or I'll call security on you.
He continues shouting, even as I slam the door in his face. Some nonsense about the news lately, though I don't understand most of it. However, with the closed doors muffling the better part of it, and with no ears to listen, his tirade doesn't last too long. Eventually he leaves, and silence once again fills the room, as it should. In hindsight, maybe I should also call for a psychiatric service. He certainly sounds mental just screaming like that. A suspicious man like him left roaming the immediate grounds? Nothing good can come of it. But if his presence will indeed bring a problem, a sign of bad things to come, I'll probably know soon enough. Worst comes to worst, Sorokin will take care of it, if need be. It's what I'm paying him for. In the meantime, the bigger problem at hand. The hush is quickly replaced by the nightmarish reality of what I had done and what I must do. Though the guilt weighs heavily upon me, I need to push it aside and proceed as necessary. Emotions play no part in this. Regret will not keep me out of jail if I don't hide my crime, one way or another. Oh, it should be easy. Just hide the body, no? Drain the body, crush the teeth, burn off her fingerprints, and mar her face past the point of recognition before chopping the body up. There'll be plenty of options after that. Incineration, feeding it to animals, dumping it into the ocean. Oh, she would like the last one, wouldn't she? Of course, there's always the option to let her decompose, become fertilizer to my daffodils. That really isn't the big issue, though.
This whole murder business just ruins a good Sunday morning, does it not?
Jesus Christ. Hana, my dear Hana, till death do us part.
And you must part. Forget about her.
Yet, even in death, I cannot let you go. My hands still shake at the very idea that I have your blood on them. My insides feel both numb and afire because of the sin I've committed. My lips quiver as I fight off the urge to cry prayers and apologies in the hopes that they would be enough to bring you back. But I know that is not a fairy. But I know that this is no fairy tale. Ash's chapter would like to have a word with you. But I'm not going to wake up to the slumbering princess with a kiss. True love or otherwise. No sentiment or good intention will change the cruel reality of life. Even if miracles do exist, I do not think they would happen for a man such as myself. The past cannot be changed. I must deal with the consequences to come, regardless of what the other person who has just walked in says. And he always has to have an opinion.
I think murder would ruin a sane person's mood no matter the day or time.
It's true. I think. I don't know. Never done it, so never want to. I'm shutting up now.
Continue mouthing off and there'll be a second one, Sorokin. I've killed for less in the past. I've been soft, complacent. Those things need to change.
Jeez. She made me soft. Over the years, I've been told marriage has made me a kept man. Of course, people stopped saying that after I shot a fool who thought disrespecting my wife would get him anywhere. Now that she's gone, though, well, who knows?
I mean no disrespect. Excuse the murmurings of the insane, yes? But I have every confidence and every dread that you will go through with it. However, about the Madame, how shall we proceed? I'm sure it has come to you that this will need more attention than the others who have gone under our care.
The chances of her remains being found is slim if we do things properly, as we have done in the past. But the chances of her disappearance going unnoticed? Not bloody likely. She was Hannah. Whether she was Hannah Evans or Hannah Wright, she's practically Luxborn royalty. Her disappearance will cause quite the stir, and who will be suspect number one? Me, of course, after the public blow up she had at the party. This won't be as easy as, say, killing an ordinary accountant who's looked into the numbers a bit too thoroughly, or an attorney who hopes to get in my way. For now I need time to plan to, at the very least, hide the body and cover up her disappearance. That's why I had the rest of the staff sent away except for Strauchen.
I suppose we can't just sweep this under the rug, can we? What about a magic trick, then? Can we pull off a sleight of hand? Now you see her, now you don't?
Misdirection. Clever. You could blame the butler. I would not mind retirement.
A nice try, but I'm not letting you go. I still own you until I see fit. There's no need for you to take the fall. Not when there are plenty of others I can pinpoint as the culprit. Why even make it murder?
I don't think turning it into a kidnapping story will work. But Hannah was sociable enough that she had plenty of suitors. She could have been a bit too friendly with one of them. That would be the pot calling the kettle black. But she might have, if she was falling out of love with me, she might have wanted to leave me for another. Someone else who caught her eye, her interest. Just our very visitor this morning, in fact. Oh, shit.
People don't like a film about colours. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Foncé is all about? I was talking with Zachary, the photographer for Luxury Living. He was a perfect gentleman, Luke. I can't say the same for you as of recent. Look, Luke, nothing will happen. You have to relax. It was just a friendly chat.
Is that why he's here? Unlikely. But her? Is that why she pulled that fucking stunt in public? Does she really not love me anymore? Is it because of the photographer? Or is it someone else? How many others could be at fault for her change of heart?
This is all her fault. She already had you and she let herself stray.
What if we said that she eloped, ran away with another man?
I'd sooner believe she was killed by the Anselm butcher than think she fled with another man. But it could work. The masses will eat up such gossip. We can fake evidence, signs that will point to her traveling with a companion. Though, if I may be a bit honest, I loathe to speak ill of her or create rumor.
What if it isn't a rumor? What if there was someone? Why else would she act out like that? The falling out would be the best excuse to leave me, while coming out as the victim. Whatever the case, it'll put me under less scrutiny. The police will investigate if it's a murder or a kidnapping or a sudden disappearance. But they won't really bother with marital and relationship issues, will they?
They are not minors, and I suppose the police will not bother unless you file a case. They have more problems than a love affair. It would be best to consult someone who knows the law a bit more intimately. Your lawyer, yes?
Yes, but he's away on a holiday, enjoying the beaches on some back-end country or some such. Somewhat called Philippians or something?
Hey.
He told me he'll be back on the 2nd of November.
Wouldn't that be a bit too late? If we have to wait that long, we can consult someone else. The chief inspector might be willing.
Yes, I suppose I can ask Lee. He's an idiot, but he's an idiot who studied the law. But if I ask questions, he'll pry, and I'd like to not give too much away. The trick to keeping a secret is to having a few people as possible know about it. Take a few people down, and put them in their graves if I have to. At least the lawyer is paid to believe I'm innocent and won't be nosy about the whole thing. And really, it's just because
I don't trust him with this. He's probably busy with that wife of his, if she's still even in the city.
Who can I even trust, really?
You can trust your most faithful servant, for I am the only one who truly loves you, my prince.
A person's loyalty stops where greed starts. They all bowed down to curry favor, faking smiles and attending to my every whim, accepting approval and gifts in exchange. That is all well and good for me. Let it not be said that I am not a generous prince. But it is those who I reign over through fear that I must watch out for. People like Harvey Lee fell under both of those. He catered to me shamelessly, so that I can aid him with his wishes in turn. And when he found out that he was in too deep, I had to leash him, lest he get in my way. Sure, I say jump and he'll ask how high, but he's a spineless little shit. Oh my god. The moment he thinks he's the opportunity to turn the tables on me, he'll take it. Bribery and blackmail can only go so far. One needs to make the other person bend, but take care not to have them broken. If they believe they have nothing to lose, that's when they retaliate. At the very least, he'll try to use the knowledge to try and gain leverage, to be on equal grounds with me. And if he does that, I'll be forced to kill him. I don't like letting go of my toys because they decide to be stupid. Handing idiots can be so tiring. No matter how many of them die off, another 3 can be found within a stone's toss. It's best to make use of them, one way or another, until it's decided that they need to be deleted from the gene pool. Oh god.
It won't do to use a story until we're certain it's believable. After all, it's the first time I've become a widower. Until then, keep the others away from her body.
Standing up to leave, I grow still at the sound of shattering glass. Dampness leaks onto my shoes, as red stains at the hem of my pants and my socks. I forgot I was having wine.
Go clean that up and leave me be. I've already had the other staff take the day off. I don't want to see hide or hair of you unless I call.
There's no peace to be had just yet, apparently. The other man is so quick to follow and quick to speak up, as there aren't any to witness such disrespect or to hear what had to be said.
You do realize it has been 12 hours. Rigor mortis has already set in. Any longer, and then it will start smelling like a sewer. I will not be able to do anything about that without removing the corpse itself. In 3 days' time, the smell will have seeped into the walls, and you will have to replace those to even get rid of it. If you're not keen about disposing the body just yet, at the very least we can put it in a freezer.
I suppose a chest freezer for the wine cellar wouldn't raise too many questions. And, look, I don't want to think about this right now. I don't care if you have to fill the room with potpourri or douse all the walls with perfume. Go order a freezer and have it delivered today even. Just make sure it doesn't stink up the place until we get rid of the body. Make it happen. This is your problem now.
If you are not to attend to it, will you be reporting to work then? You've already cancelled your appointments for the day, but some are still insistent that you keep to your original meetings. The board of directors are especially adamant about talking about the hotel and...
I put my hand up to stop the man from talking before he goes any further. Why? I can already feel the migraine building up from all of his worrying. It's part of his job, I understand, but I said I was going to have the day off. So be assured, I am going to have the bloody day off.
Goodness, no. I think I deserve a break. A day or 2, or 3 without being surrounded by complete dunderheads. Director Hahn can handle those busybodies for a while, can't he?
For fuck's sake, I can have the week off if I want. My finances will not be the worst for wear. My company and businesses are not going to keel over and die just because I decided to take leave for a bit, right? It's not like I'm the only competent businessman there. I mean, at least I hope not. Before there are any more protests, I pull my mobile out of my pocket and toss it his way. By the time he catches it, I'm already halfway out the door.
I'm going out for some fresh air. If anybody calls, tell them they can sod off and bother me another day.
Having no obligations today, Luke made plans on how to take care of the situation with Hana without risking the authorities or anyone else finding out. In the end, he passed the work off to his butler, trusting him to get it done as clean and efficient as possible. This is so weird. Gray skies loom over the horizon, and the sun fights for every precious minute it gets to stay. It'll rain again soon, and with wind bringing along the gloomy clouds, normal to Luxborn. Until then, it doesn't hurt to be out here for fresh air and sunshine. I walk to the gardens, what little of there is at the moment anyway, and kneel by the daffodils. These were the first to be brought here and planted on my request, and if nothing else, they brought in a sense of peace. They were my mother's favorites. Closing my eyes, I lift my chin up to welcome the light and the that shines upon me. For a minute, I can imagine myself as one of the flowers, peaceful, blooming, and all too happy to stand in its warmth. Life would be so much easier if we were all like flowers, wouldn't it? But I didn't step out here to get all philosophical. I have problems much more practical than figuring out the meaning of life. After all, too many things have gone on these past few days. And I want to forget about them, even just for a moment.
It's almost All Saints, isn't it? To think I've almost forgotten.
Do I even deserve to talk to her now? I feel like it feels wrong to do so after what I've done. Not because I have blood on my hands, no, that's nothing new. But when it's her, when I've killed my lovely Hana, I don't even need to worry about becoming my father anymore, because I'm certainly much, much worse. Damien never killed Eleanor, never had her blood on his hands. Staring at the flowers offers me no safety from that reality. The peace I came out here for is short-lived when my own mind betrays my guilt. But I'm stubborn. But I'm a stubborn fool who is set in his ways, after I refuse to get up and go back into the house just yet, even if there's no real point in staying in the dirt. And I made even more determined to stay when I sense a presence standing behind me. When I told Schrocken that I would tell anyone and everybody to sod off and bother me another day, I do mean that.
Leave me alone, Schrocken. Go make dinner if you want to be useful.
I think those flowers look beautiful, my lord. The parlor, the room where the lady stays for her tea, it could certainly use some.
The voice is not familiar, though. I'm not really one to remember such things. And that should certainly concern me when the other household staff members had been sent away for the day. Not to mention, I'd like to think I'd remember a pretty face like hers if she's under my employ. If she's pretending to be one of the staff, she's out of luck. And if that's the case, she shouldn't push her luck, lest I decide another murder will not ruin my day any further. I can only feel, at the very least, indifference at her presence and annoyance at most. Beautiful as she may be, that did not exempt her from my wish to be on my own. There's a part of me that feels like I'll snap at any moment from the smallest of reasons, and I'm just waiting for an excuse to let go again.
Didn't you get the memo? Are you new? Today is a day off. You aren't supposed to be here.
Am I not? I apologize, my lord. I wasn't aware that we are not expected at our stations this day. It's just that today is such a beautiful day. I saw you alone and simply thought you could use some company.
Point. The birds are singing, the flowers are blooming. It would be a shame to spend days like these on my own. But with these rare sunny days, I wish I could spend it with my sunshine, my Hana. Something claws and lashes out inside me at the reminder of what happened, of what I did to her. To know that she is not here with me to enjoy the scarce times when dark clouds do not plague our skies. An ill feeling takes over me at the mere thought. I have to swallow down the bile that rises in my throat, force my expression not to betray anything. Any sign of weakness is not allowed, the slightest of slip-ups, and I'll be swarmed by sharks, hungry for blood. Perhaps talking with another person, a human being that doesn't know of my sins, will do me some good. That, or there'll be another pretty corpse by the end of the day.
All is forgiven. You must be really enthusiastic about your job if you didn't realize it's a day off.
I simply owe everything to the lady. Work is all I know. It's the only way I can repay her. But if my lord wishes to take it as enthusiasm, I won't hold it against you.
She smiles. She has that sort of smile that makes one's kindness shine through without words or action. It reaches her eyes, filling them with a strange sort of mirth, as if she's just thought of something very funny. And I'm hard-pressed to return that friendly gesture. I'll be civil. That doesn't mean I have to pretend that I enjoy it. Though I'm debating just dismissing her all the same.
The flowers in the countryside are rather beautiful, aren't they? Though I must admit, they do not appeal to me as much as the ones in my homeland do.
Not a native born, then. Probably a foreigner who thought looking for a job overseas would let her live the high life, only for stark reality to slap her right in the face. People like her are a dime a dozen, and she's probably one of those undocumented foreign workers, too. There's just a whole doozy of debate about them nowadays. Though it's probably best not to bring up the topic up, if only for the sake of my temper. Still, I have to rise to her bait. Flowers sound like a safe topic to breach, and one I rather enjoy.
Oh, is that a challenge I hear? You must not have seen a full British garden in bloom, then. The roses, daffodils, thistles, and bluebells make for a grand display under the right care.
I think they are much too bright.
Oh, do elaborate. I've never heard anyone call it that way.
Just the way you present your flowers, that is. They are beautiful still. But I think they lack the softness and elegance of the chrysanthemums and cherry blossoms that I have grown up seeing.
Yeah, so she is from Japan, okay.
Do you work in the gardens, then?
Because that would explain why she's so unfamiliar to me. I don't meet much of the staff at all, preferring that they remain invisible until they are a necessity. The gardeners especially, as I only really go out to take care of mother's daffodils, and ask that I be left alone under those circumstances.
Oh, not at all. Although I do wish I were. I do enjoy working with plants quite a lot. Not that I am unhappy to be at your service, my lord. But no. I work for the lady of the house and carry out what she requests of me.
lady of the house. Is that what the old hag of the head housemaid telling the other staff to call her now? Not surprising, really. That woman has always been an upstart, self-important biddy who doesn't know her place. She should really just give up, retire and enjoy whatever remains of her years. At her age, she wouldn't manage even a position in the Queen's staff. Not that I don't respect that woman, of course. She and I are much alike. Except I succeeded in rising up the ranks of society whereas she failed, and how she despises me for that fact. Her pride probably refuses her a graceful exit, and I don't really care all too much about her employment until such time the government forces me to retire her. With how old she is, she's always complaining about pains and aches and about young people. She's a difficult character, and she only acts real tolerable around Hana. Not that that'd be a thing anymore since... Well, now I'm just in a terrible mood.
Oh, relax. That old hag isn't going to know because I'm not a snitch. But to be frank, I'm just wondering what you're here for. It's a nice day. A lovely lady like you should be out on the city with some lucky bloke.
Apologies. I did not mean to bother you. I thought you would appreciate the company, what with the rains about to return.
And if I do not appreciate the company, if I wish to be alone, don't you think I came out here for a purpose?
I did nothing to mask my indignance now. If this were any other time, maybe if she were someone else, I would try to be a tad bit civil for a while longer. But if my foul temper will make her run off, all the better. I don't need servants or their impostor nosing about my business. She stays undeterred. If anything, she's rooted herself to the spot, still and silent. She looks at me in a quiet appraisal while I try my best to see if I can just ignore her. A difficult feat, as her stare makes my skin crawl. And what she says next sends a chill up my spine.
But, my lord, that is not what I see. Loneliness casts shadows in your eyes and sharp lines on your face. I see a man who is thinking of the woman he loves. You miss her. You regret. Though I cannot fathom why. She did not deserve you.
With the money and power I have, it's no big surprise that there is a target painted on my back. There have been a few times that someone has tried to take care of me. I've been personally insulted before, called a bastard and a demon. They think angering me will make me slip. The very fact that they do try to get rid of me is insulting enough as it is. But this is different. Nobody has spoken of my mother before to get to me, because nobody knew of her. As far as the greater public is concerned, I am the son of Damien Wright, and whoever was unlucky enough to bear me is nothing but an unfortunate footnote in the history of our family.
Who are you? Who sent you? What do you want? How do you know about my mother?
The venom in my voice is apparent. As is the confusion in hers.
Your mother? No, I speak of the woman you wed. Her death was a blessing.
But I don't know if this is any better. I can feel the blood leaving my face. We had sent the others away for this exact reason, to give us time to cover up her disappearance, her corpse even. But if she knew about it, well, she has to be taken care of.
What? How did you?
Without drawing too much attention to it, I reach for the mobile in my pocket. One press would be all it takes to call the other man here so that we can get rid of the pest. I'd do it myself, but I'm unarmed, near defenseless. But my phone isn't here. Yeah, because we gave it to you.
I'm going out for some fresh air. If anybody calls, tell them they can sod off and bother me another day.
Of course, of all the time for me to ditch the bloody thing. But I should be able to take care of one woman, right? There's nobody but Johans and I on the property, far removed from the village and the rest of society. Fist to the throat, a quick twist of the neck, blade to the jugular. Though forget that last one. Unfortunate of me, I don't have my knife either. But looking back at her, I freeze in place.
Is something the matter? You look a fright.
What the fuck? Yeah. I tried to scream, but it stuck in my throat.
Please do not torment yourself. You have nothing to worry about. I would never harm you. This home still needs its lord, our prince.
Fucking run, dude.
Come, my lord. The house beckons.
Nope, out of there. Gone was the beautiful woman, and in her place is this grotesque witch, this monster, surreal and horrifying. That's it. I've gone mad. Driven crazy by guilt for the sins I've committed. And this is the devil that would torment me for all eternity. But even the idea that this is all a dream, a nightmare, doesn't stop me from flinching away at her touch. It definitely does not stop me from breaking off into a run. Wanting some alone time and fresh air, Luke excused himself, lingering in the gardens as he remembered the memory of his late mother. Suddenly, a beautiful woman appeared by his side, striking up a conversation with him. It was all pleasant at first until she changed her face and looked all scary. It definitely... Yeah, I already read that. Okay. I can still feel her eyes on me as I run back to the house, but I refuse to acknowledge it, let alone look back. She's gone. I feel relieved, though. I really shouldn't be. Stopping to catch my breath, Johan's sudden appearance nearly makes me jump out of my skin.
Don't fucking do that, you son of a bitch! If I had a gun, I would have shot you!
If I had any love left for my mutter, I'd take offense. But what happened to you? You look like you've seen a ghost.
You did. If only that was such a delusion. But I can still feel the faintest touch of her fingers. The feeling was too real for it to have been a ghost.
In the garden, there was a woman.
And there's always a woman with you, isn't there?
That's not what I mean. Listen, she knows that Hana is dead.
Strange. The house was empty. Is empty. I made sure of that. Can you describe this woman?
Are you deaf? I told you she knows that Hana is dead. What does it matter what she looks like? What is this with this interrogation anyway? Do you not believe me?
Frustrations bleeds into my very being when he just raises his brow at me. What does it matter what she looks like, unless we're going to go look for her? Oh, of course. But I have to fight off the panic as I try to recall her features. I hurry up the stairs and into the east hallway with the butler at my heels. All of this just to get as far away as I physically can from the gardens before I dare speak of her again.
She had pale skin, dark eyes, and long dark hair. She wouldn't give me her name.
She didn't give you her name. You didn't ask.
And did she know who killed the madam?
It didn't seem like she knew who it was. But she still knows that Hana is dead. You know I'm not going to do well if I go under investigation right now.
Ruhe, bitte. Calm down and sink, right? Sink. The body hasn't been moved. She must have been near it to know of it. If she knows there's a corpse, we can go about this two ways. Either we find her and take care of her, or we...
Make her take the fall. That's all well and good. Brilliant. But there's just one thing.
The hairs on the back of my neck stand on end at the mere thought of that woman. I don't know if it was the trick of the light, but I don't think I was imagining things. And though he might think me a lunatic, I can only go on.
Well, she was this thing. A monster. A witch. I know how it sounds. I sound like... It sounds like I've gone off my rocker with all that's happened.
I expect to hear disregard, concern for my mental state, and maybe even empty platitudes relating to my guilt. But instead, the other man grows deathly silent, a thoughtful look on his face.
I would normally say that seeing hallucinations is a normal human experience, even if this does not sound like a bereavement hallucination. But the woman you described is familiar. I've seen her before in the mansion. Glimpses.
Oh, this is different.
Is she one of ours, then? You must know her name now that you know what she looks like.
I thought at first that her name may have merely slipped my mind. I've asked the head housemaid to reprimand her, for she was always loitering about when I saw her. But the old woman confirms we do not have anyone fitting the description under our employ.
So what I saw, what you saw, what was that? I don't understand.
'Tis a ghost, Luke.
Explain, Shurkin. Please tell me I'm not going mad.
We will have a head count of the female staff in the morning, and I'll assign stricter security protocols when the staff returns. It's better we rule things out before jumping to conclusions. I will have to check for tampering as well.
Tampering?
Psychotropic drugs to start off with, perhaps in the water supply. I suggest you not worry yourself about it. You are unharmed. That is what matters right now. If it makes you feel any better, I'll stand guard outside for the night.
No, that does not make me feel any better. If that woman was a hallucination, a walking nightmare, what could a guard do to stop her from appearing before me once more? And if she comes into my dreams? I loathe to think what I would need to cry for help, like an infant in need of his mother. A tense silence befalls us, and though I don't dare to speak it out loud, I would say that we both seem scared. Often, I'm the first to break anything of the sort, but...
Shall I put them in a vase?
I'm confused before I realize what I have in my grip.
What? Oh, these? I didn't realize I still had them.
I really did not. But there they were, still in my grip, are the daffodils I had taken from the garden. Even in the wake of my flight, I refused to let go of them, whether I was conscious of it or not. They should be for Mother. They could be for Hana, too, but does it even matter? What do dead women care for flowers? Well, I suppose Hana would have loved them.
No, I think I'll take them with me. And if you don't mind, I'm going to turn in for the night.
Of course. I shan't keep you any longer. I'll be out here if you need anything.
I don't care enough to show any sign that I've heard him, retreating into the master bedroom without another word. The bouquet of daffodils is quickly placed before the nursery door. It's almost hilarious how I'm not worried about a woman more than I am of the fact that there is a corpse in the next room. But even as worry for her still keeps me on edge, I feel exhaustion come over me. Not bothering to strip of my clothes, I fall onto the bed, tired and alone.